Well, hi, hello, how are you, everyone? Welcome to today's exciting episode of Flashback with Wes Britton, where you get to hear me and my co-host Karina Kansas interview stars, entertainment insiders, and entertainers from every variety from times past, present, and future. So kick back, enjoy this next hour, and thanks for stopping by.
Toto has been very much all-encompassing. 35 million records sold. That's just under their band name, not counting all the session work that the guys have done. Of course, all their big hits, Africa, Rosanna, Hold the Line, ... Well, 35 years have gone by, and they've got a brand new DVD out that's called Live in Poland, and we'll be getting onto that in a few moments here.
Yep.
They're on tour. And they're talking about a new album that's in the works. And who better to tell you all about it than somebody who's been there since the very beginning, David Paich, who's the keyboard player. He's a vocalist in the band and a major songwriter in the band. So let's get him on board to tell you the story of Toto.
Oh, gee, you're too kind. Hi, everybody. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm sure they're all doing fine out there. I certainly am. Well, as I said, you were there from the very beginning. I guess
that's right. That's right.
And go ahead.
My father had been a musical director on the Glenn Campbell Show because he was an arranger in Los Angeles, and Joe Porcaro had just come out with his family from Connecticut, your area, and my father was looking for a great percussionist, and he hired Joe Porcaro, and I used to play in the pit with the band on the Sundays when they used to do the show, when they'd be warming up the crowd, and he heard me play and said that his son had a band that had just won the Battle of the Bands, and they were looking for a new keyboard player, so he invited me over to get together with his son, Jeff Porcaro, one of the great legendary drummers of all time, and one of my closest friends. And we started playing in this high school band called Rural Still Life, which is the name of a Tom Scott solo album. And that's where myself, Mike Porcaro, and Jeff Porcaro started playing together. And I met also Steve Porcaro, who used to come play with us. And Steve Lukather took over our band when we left on the road for Sonny and Cher after high school. So they kept that band going. So we were always together in the garage, in the neighborhood, playing, watching their band play, our band play. So we kind of all grew up together in high school. That's the big misnomers. Everyone thinks that we met in the studio and as session players have decided to play. But we were always playing rock and roll and R&B in high school at dances and proms and homecomings, that kind of thing. And I think we got our big break after we'd been doing sessions and stuff. We joined up with David Hungate there in right after high school, and we did an album called Silk Degrees with Boz Scaggs that kind of brought a lot of light on us. And the record company said, well, you guys should form a band. And we had already been thinking about putting the old band from high school back together. And sure enough, we called up our, Steve Lukather, Jeff Porcaro, David Hungate. Mike Porcaro wasn't out of high school yet, but we put the guys together, and there you have it. We formed Toto.
When was it you started songwriting? Because I gather you contributed a great deal to Silk Degrees, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I was very lucky. Jeff Porcaro had called me to do a Les Dudek album, who had been played in the Allman Brothers, and Boz Scaggs was producing that. And Boz was looking to co-write a whole album with somebody musically. So Jeff threw in my name in there, and I was just very lucky to be in that position at that time where he asked me to not just, hey, let's write a song, but to write an album. And we went up to my father's place up in Santa Ynez, California, and got on a piano and sat down and wrote Lowdown, Lido's Shuffle, most of the songs on that record there. And like I said, it became a kind of a watermark album here in the United States as far as him and myself. And I started writing really when I was young. I'd met a great writer, young writer who everybody knows now from Oklahoma, named Jimmy Webb, who wrote By the Time I Get to Phoenix, MacArthur Park, and songs, and my father had been working with a group called The Fifth Dimension, and also with Johnny Rivers and Glenn Campbell. And Jimmy Webb influenced me very much, the way he had combined kind of classical music with country music almost, in his own inevitable way. And then
he was a great storyteller.
I'm sorry?
I said Jimmy Webb was a great storyteller.
Absolutely. That's his lyrics, the way he writes lyrics and is able to just describe things in the poetry that he uses when he's writing is so fantastic, and what a great down-to-earth guy. And we eventually wrote a song called Home of the Brave on the 7th One album and brought him in, and he helped write lyrics with us on that. And it's one of the songs that we close our show with sometimes. So I was very lucky. And after Jimmy Webb, I think the biggest, the most influential person was probably Elton John when he came out in 1970. I mean, I just really connected with him and heard your song. And when I heard the strings and the piano and heard the whole thing that he was doing, I kind of just started writing Elton John-ish type of songs, through high school. And I think after that, that's when I kind of started developing my own style. But pretty much I was an Elton John, Jimmy Webb aficionado through high school,
Now, as I said earlier, Toto is kind of a let me start that again. My voice gets raw these days.
That's okay.
As I said earlier, Toto is a term that kind of means all-encompassing.
Yeah.
Did that have anything to do with how you chose the band name? Because there's various rumors and stories, but I mean, the idea of it being all-encompassing fits.
It is. It is. It really is that. I mean, we found out it meant a lot of other things later on. I mean, obviously, Toto was the little dog in Wizard of Oz, which is one of my favorite movies, so that didn't hurt. But I was sitting at a restaurant called Lucy's El Adobe. It's a very famous little rock hangout, great Mexican restaurant on Melrose in Hollywood. And we were trying to come up with names here, something simple. I had read in the Time magazine that Kodak had gotten their name from a computer because they wanted they programmed it to give them letters that children could remember and it was pronounced like it was spelled. So we started playing with letters on a little napkin there, and we were looking for a great name like the Beatles or the Eagles or something like the Who, And Jeff wrote down the word Toto, And but it was T-O-D-O. It was kind of the Spanish version, and then we changed it to a T and said Toto. And he looked at me and I looked at him. We said, "Well, that's the kind of name that we're looking for. It's real simple." And Jeff says, "Well, it means it comes from the Latin word totus toti, all encompassing there at all." And we put that on our boxes on the tape boxes of our demos. Toto, for lack of a better name, and we were going to change it and try and find a better name than that, but the record company saw the boxes, when they got our cassettes, said, "Well, we're going to sign this new band called Toto," and before you know it, Toto had stuck, and here we are 35 plus later,
Yeah, for sure. Now, that whole business of all-encompassing I find interesting because you guys do so many different genres of music. How was it you did pull together so many different influences from R&B to arena rock to progressive rock to you name it? I mean, it's astonishing just how many. You don't just cover all the you don't just touch all the bases. You cover them all.
Yeah.
How did that evolve?
Well, I think because our fathers had been in the business, had been those kind of guys that played all genres. They played jazz, they played rock and roll, they could play country, they could play classical, they could just about do anything. So we had both the Carl family and my family had lots of different kinds of music always playing around the house, and we learned as kids when we were coming up to play different sources, because that's what session guys do, is they're in playing different kinds of music. So we became well versed at all different styles listening to our fathers, and then it became natural for us as a band to utilize that proficiency at playing different genres to arrange songs. So if we came up with a hard rock song, we were able to adapt to that style. If we came up with an R&B song like Georgie Porgy, we went into this R&B kind of Marvin Gaye mode here, and we had all these English rock chops also in the band, so we could pretty much chameleonize ourselves and pivot on a dime here and do anything we want, almost like character actors. And I think that appeal got out, and once word got out that we were pretty much well versed in different things, it broadened the scope of the kind of people that were hiring us as a unit after high school to come and play sessions for them, because they found out that we were, the range of our influences was a little larger than most. And so over the years, we just were very fortunate, very blessed to get called and to play with lots of great artists. I mean, all the way from Elton John to Pink to,
Steely Dan. Now, over the years, your lineup has also changed rather extensively. I was kind of surprised to see this one reference in Wikipedia that the record label forced a singer on you at one point.
Yeah. Well, at that time they call it, you see a lot of bands going through it right now. They called it LSD at one time, which is lead singer disease, which is the changing of lead singing. lead singers coming and going here. Unfortunately, we had our original chemistry. When you get successful and everybody, gets some money and everything like that, and we were all young and everything like that. The core unit here was still there, but lead singers started to work with other people here, and as a result of it, we found ourselves our tastes in lead singers changing, and we'd always worked with so many lead singers like Leo Sayer and, like I said, Boz Scaggs and people, and Kenny Loggins, that we thought we could just about do anything. We'll just get another guy here and we'll get someone here and plug them in here. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work. You can't always recreate the chemistry that you have. But we came to one point where we took a break because we didn't have a lead singer in our band, and the record company came up with somebody that was from South Africa. It was kind of an experiment. And so we were putting out a greatest hits album, and we decided to do 4 cuts with him, Sean Michelle Byron. And it seemed like an interesting call at the time. Normally, that would have been like the type of person who was just an artist that Toto would have just gone and played it and done an album with on the side right here. But because we were so hungry and needed an artist here, that we tried to implant him in the band here and make it work here. And it did for a little bit. And we had a little run with him, and then it wasn't exactly a fit, so we had to move on.
That's one thing I kind of observed over the years, that when people come and go, it doesn't seem like this is a band that's got a lot of acrimony with partings and changes. It's just people get involved with their solo work, or they move on to do different things.
That's right.
I don't get the sense that there's an awful lot of battling in Toto.
No. It's more of you have to be interested. You know what I mean? That's all you have to do is really just show up. You know what I mean? It's always been the music to me, that the interaction that's been the alluring temptation of Toto that makes you want to come. And if you call a session and you go, we're doing this album, but people are interested or doing other projects, well, you don't want someone who's not interested in your little unit here, or your musical tastes. You want people that just are passionate about the music here. So we got whoever showed up in the room. You're in the band right there at the time, and we would keep going. You know what I mean? And now we have a great singer who is John Williams, the composer's son, Joe Williams, and he's been from the Old Neighborhood also. He was on the Fahrenheit album and the Seventh One album, and he's our current lead singer, and forever will be our lead singer now. And he's singing strong, and it's just an unbelievably gifted talent.
Well, let's pull this together to talk about the 35th anniversary disc that you guys recorded in Poland last year, because it really is a retrospective of 35 years. How did you guys choose that material to celebrate your career?
Well, we decided that people made us aware. We didn't even know that we'd been together for 35 years. I mean, it seems like a flash in the pan. It seems like maybe 10 years, you know. We're like, 35 years? You got to be kidding. What is this, an April Fool's joke? And it's like, well, you should do something special for your 35th anniversary. We're still getting over the fact that we think we're 35, not been together 35 years. And the forever, you know, eternal high school rock band, you know. So we decided that we'd been doing some good shows out there because we'd been going out to help our bass player, Mike Beccaro, who has ALS, has been stricken with a very terrible disease. And he's fighting that battle, trying to fight that battle right now. And so we've decided, well, let's put Toto back together here after we kind of evaporated in 2008 and got together in 2010. And the band started feeling so good, this band that we had to do this, that someone suggested we film this. And so we did one time, and we weren't happy with the results, one summer tour. So we decided to hold off and do it the next summer. And we had planned to do it originally in Amsterdam at the Ziggo, and we realized that was too early in the tour to do it. And then we changed to France, but there was a transportation strike, of which we found out that there are always transportation strikes in France. Oh. So the crews from London couldn't get over there. And we found another venue that Steve had been to. Steve had been in Lukather, had taken a solo tour to Poland. And we decided that might be a very interesting place because I think Mark Knopfler and Eric Clapton had just played a place called the Atlas Arena there. And we decided, well, let's take a shot here. We haven't been there. We were, I think, in Poland, Warsaw one time. And we heard the crowds were great there. So it was really kind of throwing the dice. It was kind of a crapshoot. And we lucked out because the crowds were just unbelievably passionate and enthusiastic and just the best. You know, it's hard to say that they're the best crowds, but they were really excited and appreciative and knew all of our songs and everything there. And we just decided to put our show together there and celebrate the last 35 years because it's kind of been a soundtrack for a lot of fans' lives. And people write, and we made a tour book and showed a lot of our fans and their letters and stuff like that, people that have been loyal to us all through the years here. And we just wanted to kind of do that to thank our fans and say, hey, thank you for being around for 35 years and make people aware of this terrible disease, ALS, here, to raise awareness with that also.
So how did you pick the songs? Because I think you told me earlier that you made a point of trying to draw from all of your albums.
Well, we just got song lists, you know, as we normally do. We looked at the sets that we'd been doing before, songs we knew. But we had Joseph Williams in the band, so when you bring a singer in that sang on these two other albums, you're able to do material you weren't able to do before, you know, different things. And so we just went down the songs and said, what songs haven't we played that we'd like to do that, or haven't we played in a long time? And then we found there was, you know, St. George and the Dragon paired nicely with Hydra off the Hydra album there. Mm-hmm. And we did, we always wanted to do a Steve Porcaro song, so we put It's a Feeling in there, you know. Mm-hmm. Also, Steve Lukather has a couple of great ballads, I'll Be Over You, Won't Hold You Back. We did Fib, Falling in Between. And I think we started doing, coming up with different arrangements on things too. We did a new kind of version of 99, kind of a percussive, kind of different, interesting little rhythmical thing on 99, and went into an instrumental that I had written for a keyboard spot, but we ended up playing as an ensemble with myself, Steve Lukather, and our bass player, Nate East at the time, and called The Muse. And then we segued to the White Sisters. So one of the fun things about Toto is being able to rearrange our older songs so that they sound new, and to put solo spots in the various songs also, and to add little pieces, new instrumental pieces in there, because we're a musical unit. That's what we do. We're not great dancers, and we're not great super showmen like, you know, Mick Jagger and certain people like that, but we can play, so we rely on our playing. playing to entice the audience here. And it was fun. It was a little bit hard trying to settle on which songs, but eventually we were able to go through and we send the lists out to everybody in the band, kind of, what do you think of this song? What do you think of this song? It was just kind of like we used to do in high school when we'd sit around and say, well, what songs are we going to play at the dance tonight? Except the song list was 100 songs now instead of 20 songs. So it was a little more challenging.
Yeah, they get in, 2 hours plus of music?
Yeah. Boy, I'm telling you, you start needing a break there when you get to be my age, you know what I mean? Hey, let's take an take a beer break here,
And that's what you find on the new CD, folks, or DVD rather, is 2 hours worth of 35 years of music from Toto, and there's some bonuses on the disc as well, right?
Yes, there are. There's a little documentary, some documentary footage shows us backstage playing, and the guy that shot a lot of this and put it together is a good friend of mine, Jim Hagopian, who was a guitar player in my very first band when I used to play drums when I was 8, and he was a guitar player, and he since has gone into become a DP and is into doing videos, so he helped shoot our little documentary footage there, and it's a real good representation of where this band is, an excellent snapshot of what Toto music sounds like and where the members are at this particular moment who are in Toto here. So I think we decided we should do this and we should share this with all of our fans and family around the world.
Yeah, if you're a fan of Toto, this is absolutely a DVD you want. And if you're not already a fan of Toto, maybe you're too young, maybe you're younger than 35, I would say this would be a pretty good introduction to get an idea of the...
Absolutely, and it's selling a lot right now. I mean, I think we just went #1 on Amazon as far as DVDs go, live DVDs. And so I think a lot of people are again, by word of mouth, I think kids are hearing about this. Anywhere from, I think the 18 to 35-year-old crowd is picking up on this. People that didn't know who we were are maybe seeing it through an aunt or an uncle or a parent or something like that, and it seems to be spreading like wildfire. So we're very appreciative and very thankful for any of you out there who have bought our live DVD and who are going to buy our live DVD. So rush out to the store right now and get it, because I certainly am. And I know Wes is too, as soon as we get done here.
Oh, I've already watched it. That's how
You've already watched it. There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
I could ask all these wonderfully intelligent questions. And even hotter news for Toto fans of all generations is you're working on new material for a new studio album, right?
That's right. It's a really exciting album here because we found out that we owed our illustrious record company one more record here. And so instead of just saying, well, we'll just throw an album together and get it over, get it done with, we started coming up with some material here, and one thing led to another, and we're looking at a really great album. We're really excited about this. I mean, it's excited as we were in the early days when we first started doing Toto records. We're very passionate about this, and we think that our fans are really going to dig this music that we're doing right now, because we certainly are. We can't wait to share it with everybody.
And that's not going to be till 2015, I gather?
I think so, the early part of that, right after the first of the year, sometime in spring.
Maybe we'll get together and talk some more then. And
that would be fantastic. I'd love to follow up with this show.
Excellent. And shows Pamela.
Yeah.
Can you tell folks a bit about that song?
I can. That was a song I started writing in my head, and I kind of heard most of the record there, and then a coincidence came up. Joseph Williams called me and goes, well, I had a girlfriend named Pamela, and I wrote a song about her, and I said, you got to be kidding me, because I have a song called Pamela. So he played his little intro thing and did this, and we added the very intro in the middle section, which he wrote, to my section, and then we both wrote the words, finished the words together, and there you have it. You have the original Rosanna horn section on there, which is Jerry Hay, Chuck Finley, Gary Grant, Tom Scott, Jim Horn, and Chicago's own James Pankow on trombone, playing on the horns on that. And I think it got to number 11 in the United States here, and It was a big hit in the U.S., and we're very happy that it's on your show.
All right. Well, with that, folks, you've got a whirlwind tour of Toto, and we're going to go out now by saying thanks to David Paich.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that episode. Don't forget that all past shows are archived on the Artist First Radio Network. And join us next week for another exciting episode of Flashback.